of the Caribbean from 2011. This game was developed by Traveler's Tales and published by Disney Interactive Studios. It, of course, covers the events of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And here we are beginning at the start of the first movie. This is that iconic scene, of course, where Jack comes in on a sinking ship right at the harbor at Port Royal. Although they've switched it up a little bit with that Lego style of comedy. And of course, you will notice something immediately if you are a regular visitor to this channel. I now have binaural audio. I acquired a second microphone, and I'm still figuring it all out. Trying to figure out how to avoid interference with the cables and the multiple mics, and how to set everything up in a way that's comfortable to record. But I'm pretty excited because for me, I generally consider binaural ASMR to just be better. Not that, mono ASMR is bad, that's amazing too, but when people can go ear to ear, for me I find that very, very tingly. That really provokes my ASMR, so I'm excited to be recording in binaural audio now. So, I have not played this game before. This is my first time playing Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. In my previous Lego videos, I talked about how I had really only played 3 Lego games. Well, technically 4. I played the original Lego Star Wars, and then I played the complete collection, and then I played Lego Batman, 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 Lego Batman. But more broadly, I had not played a ton of the Lego games. So, after covering the initial sort of nostalgic batch for me, where I went through the ones that I had played, I wanted to move on to some new ones. And can figure this one out. If I can scroll back far enough, this is probably going to be a debacle trying to find this one. Anyway, I will write their name in the comments. I'm sorry, I should have got that ready beforehand. But to whoever it was that was requesting Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, I hope you enjoy this video. And I do love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies quite a bit. Also, this is just that intro in the first movie where Will and Jack have their duel, and then Jack gets a bottle to the back of the head. But I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I think they are just incredible action movies, adventure movies. I think they're a great example of how to do, how do I put this, sort of like blockbuster, lighthearted entertainment, you know? Sort of like the role that Marvel movies fill these days. These adventure movies that aren't really high art necessarily. They're not art house cinema. They're something to be fun and draw the crowds. But that doesn't mean that they don't have depth and artistry to them. And I think that the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are chock-a-block with artistry. I think that they are written fantastically, acted fantastically. I think that the effects and the use of, sets and props and everything, they just look phenomenal. And I am only talking about the first 3 movies. I saw the one with Captain Salazar, Dead Men Tell No Tales, I believe. And that one was not my favorite, but the first 3 are phenomenal. So here we are in prison. Of course, in the first movie, you have Elizabeth Swann, Will Turner, and Jack Sparrow, who are our 3 heroes. And Elizabeth Swann is kidnapped by Captain Barbossa and his undead pirate crew. And Will Turner, who loves Elizabeth, breaks Jack Sparrow out of prison so that the 2 of them can go rescue Elizabeth together. Because Will knows that he needs the help of Jack to track down Captain Barbossa. So, the Lego games, something interesting here that I'm noticing early on is has its own, like, modeled physics when they're sort of loose on the ground. Like there, where I'm building that skeleton, the pieces, you can kind of push them around by walking into them. And that is not the case, as a matter of course, in the previous LEGO games. That is new. And I'm noticing a bit of, I guess, frame rate issue. And I wonder if it has to do with that. It's trying to process all of this, all these physics interactions. The performance is not super great. I'm not sure how much it will come across in the video, but there's just a little bit of drag to it. And I'm not a great technical guy. I don't even really notice technical issues very much. If they're sort of moderate, but I am feeling it a little bit here, this weightiness to it, and I think it's a frame rate issue primarily. But anyway, this is of course a great conceit for a LEGO game doing the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, because LEGO just, these games excel at taking like iconic set pieces and having these silly little LEGO themed adventures in them. So I have no doubt that a lot of the iconic locations from these movies will be well rendered for exploration in this game. I am curious with how much, ship combat and stuff is a major part of these movies, pirate movies after all. If they will have, like, ship combat mechanics, if you'll be able to control ships. Of course, the LEGO games have vehicle sections. And so you could just do something like that where you just do the standard LEGO vehicle level. But I also feel that you could do something a little bigger, a little more impressive with the pirate ships in this game. So I'm a little curious to see how that goes. I sort of feel like the left ear is a little more, feels a little bit like the left ear is coming across a bit nicer in this recording, just from my headphones, but I don't know, I'll have to check that out when I actually finish recording. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, and it just popped into my head. I forgot to mention the last LEGO game that I played when I was younger, one of the 3 franchises, I guess, of the LEGO games that I played. I got caught up on just saying Lego Batman, Lego Batman, Lego Batman. recent video on was Lego Indiana Jones. Lego Indiana Jones. Which is a great Lego game. I do like the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but my favorites are the second two. The first one I think is awesome, and it really sets up the world and, provides the basis upon which they would expand in the next two. But I love the developments in the second two. How all the different factions interact. I love the East India Company in those two. And how they're sort of using Davy Jones. They have Davy Jones like a leashed dog. And the themes of the Pirates movies, especially those second two, with how the world is being constrained, how there's no room for swashbuckling pirates anymore, And the East India Company kind of instantiates that notion in those movies, providing the force of civilization, the force of order and rules, which stands in contrast to not only the pirate lifestyle of our main characters, especially Jack, but it also stands in contrast to the mythological elements of the films. The sort of iconic, for me the most iconic example of this is the Kraken. The Kraken. Also, I guess I'm just assuming that you guys have seen these movies. And in case you haven't, spoilers. Maybe a little late to call out the spoiler tag, but and it's been a while since I've watched these movies. I should really watch them again. But as I was saying, one of the most memorable parts of those second two movies for me that sort of represents this theme of the collapsing possibilities of the world, which happens because of the establishment of a how would you put this? The establishment of a strict, ordered structure over the world, right? You can't have crazy, swashbuckling, freedom-loving pirates, or Davy Jones sailing around when you want international commerce to rule the seas, right? So anyway, for me, the best moment where this is communicated is with the Kraken. Of course, you have Davy Jones, who is this ferryman of the souls that die at sea. And Davy Jones controls the Kraken, this massive sea creature. Also, sorry about how long this was taking. I didn't know that Jack had that little compass ability, so was wandering around for a while just trying to figure out what to do. So yeah, Davy Jones has this massive sea monster pit, the Kraken, and he can send it out to do his bidding and destroy ships, wreak havoc on the seas. And in the second movie, the Kraken is a major antagonistic force, major threatening force, because Davy Jones basically sicks it on Jack. And so the Kraken shows up and it's destroying ships, and Jack knows he has to get away. And at the end of the movie, the Kraken eats Jack. So then the third movie comes around, and maybe you think, oh, how are they going to deal with the Kraken in this movie? Well, partway through the movie, they land on this island, and the Kraken is just dead on the beach, being picked at by seagulls. This giant, colossal, mythic creature just rotting on the sand. And I might not be remembering this exactly, but I think how it died, well, I know the reason that it is dead is because the East India Company, which is a British Crown, state-sanctioned monopoly corporation, which conducts a lot of maritime trade on the high seas. The East India Company has gained power over Davy Jones. They have his heart, which is, not in his body, strangely. And if they destroy the heart, Davy Jones will die. So they have Davy Jones as their servant, basically. And so the main leader of the East India Company, whose name I cannot recall, the name that's coming to mind is Norrington, but I think that's the guy that wanted to marry Elizabeth in the first movie, and for the rest of the trilogy. I can't recall the East India Company guy's name. Anyway, not important. He orders Jones to kill the Kraken. And I might be misremembering this, but I think they just have the Kraken beach itself like a whale. It hasn't been, shot to pieces by East India Company frigates or something. They just commanded that it swim up onto the sand and suffocate out in the air. And so you are there on the beach, and Jack is looking at this creature that has just recently killed him, and Jack came back to life. And they are having a conversation, and who is it? Is it Barbosa? Is it Gibbs? Probably not Gibbs. I forget exactly which character it is. But they say, they're this mythological beast, this terror of the high seas, that's just rotting on the sand because of this corporation. And they say the world's getting smaller. The world is getting smaller, or the world is shrinking. And Jack replies, the world's not getting smaller. There's just less in it. There's just less in it. And that to me is it's such an incredible moment of landing that theme of the movie. Because you have this, pirates, they're not good. Maybe sometimes they're heroic, like Jack, if he represents the pirates in this dying age of piracy. Maybe they're good, maybe they're bad, but there's something noble about them, right? Living freely. And then the East India Company, this profit-driven machine, doesn't care about the wonders of the world, doesn't care about the call of the high sea, the beauty of sailing freely on the ocean. It doesn't care about freedom at all. There's a deleted scene where you learn that Jack once worked for the East India Company as a merchant, a sailor of a merchant ship. And one day he learned that he was transporting a cargo hold full of slaves. And he set all the slaves free, basically, and that was how he became a pirate. And he says, people aren't cargo, mate. So, the East India Company represents all the stultifying, soulless, profit-driven aspects of society. How over-organization can squeeze out the wonders of the world. And just watching the Kraken, this prime symbol of the mysterious wonders of the world. Even though it was a threatening thing to Jack in the previous movie, Jack looks at it and he recognizes that in a way it's the same as him. Jack and the Kraken aren't so different. They are these relics from an age where wonder and freedom and mystery dominated the seas, and the world is changing and squeezing those things out, suffocating them like the Kraken on the beach. So, anyway, that's just a little tangent there about why I like the Pirates of the Caribbean films, and some of what I think is missing from a lot of that modern blockbuster cinema, right? I just don't think there is that depth of feeling, that artistry, that ability to converse about the themes and layers of a film with a lot of modern blockbuster cinema. Whether it's Star Wars or Marvel movies or whatever. Pirates movies or Disney movies as well, based on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride from Disney World. I guess, if you zoom in on Disney specifically, you can see how they've changed. They made these movies and then just seem incapable of making movies with the same quality today. But, hey, glad that we have these ones, right? They can't take away the good movies that they did make. Oh man, as much as they might try to with remakes and stuff, right? All the live action Disney remakes and oh man, the new Harry Potter series. They're just redoing the Harry Potter story with, I think, HBO. I'm sorry not to rant, but that is just so horrible to me, man. It is so horrible, and the show might be good, right? It's not really about that. It's just this inability of modern media giants. And of course, because of course there's still great movies coming out. There's always great movies and shows coming out. There may just be less or more of them. We certainly don't live in the golden age of film or television right now, but there are still good examples of them out there. But the giants, it's sort of like in gaming, where there's lots of good games today, but a lot of the AAA developers, the big name developers, have all really dropped the ball. It's too bad. But yeah, the Harry Potter thing, it's just, why are we remaking this stuff? Why can we not have new ideas? Why do we have to, like a tick or a mosquito, just, go to the blood vein of old movies and shows and just remake and remake and remake until we're swollen with that old rotten blood? It's a shame, but the times always change. Nothing is permanent, so I'm sure at some point we'll have a change. Although I don't know if these crappy remakes keep making big box office money. I guess there's really no incentive for them to change. Anyway, in the video game that we are ostensibly supposed to be talking about here, I am currently on Tortuga. Of course, in the first movie, after leaving Port Royal, Will and Jack have to get a crew together. And so they go to Tortuga, an island of criminal scum and pirates and all these people, and they start to put together their crew. Of course, Jack has to first find Mr. Gibbs, his first mate, Mr. Gibbs. So that is who we are looking for now, Mr. Gibbs. By the way, I've just been, rolling around in my head at the idea of expanding the type of videos that I make. I don't have major plans to change because I like making them a lot. But sort of funny, when I started this channel, I didn't conceive of it as being a gaming channel. And I didn't think that that's what I was going to fall into. And even today, I still don't really think of it as a gaming channel. But I'm sure that probably all of you do. Because that's kind of all that I make for the most part. Especially more recently, I, have a couple videos that are not gaming related, but that did end up being most of the channel. So anyway, I've just been thinking about if I should try some other stuff. I'm not bored of the video game theme, but it's also fun to branch out and do other things. I have a really stupid video that I just recorded, and I don't know when I'll get it out. I'm going to commission a little art piece for it, a little thumbnail or something, to put in the video. But it's kind of a comedy type video, comedy role play sort of thing. It's really, really dumb. I won't spoil what it is because it's super weird and silly, but so anyway, yeah, I was trying something else out with that. Just, if my creativity pushes me in a certain direction, just want to try stuff out, right? Don't get stagnant. And then I talked about fitness, physical fitness, in my Lego Batman video, and I had a lot of positive response to that. A lot of people were expressing interest in some fitness type of videos, talking about, working out or my routine or whatever. And I really like that idea. I've often, for a long time, I've had the idea, sorry, the mic is being a little silly right now. The buzzing and the cables. I think I need to get new XLR cables. But yeah, for a while, I have had the idea of, filming myself doing a workout, and then recording a voiceover over the footage. But I could also just talk about my routine, or talk about diet stuff, or something loud is driving by my apartment. Something loud. There was a guy on a motorcycle, like one of those chopper type motorcycles, Harley Davidson type, with the really high handlebars. I was taking a walk today, and he drove by, and it was so loud. I had dull hearing in my left ear where he passed me on the road for a minute after. So I wonder if that's him passing by again. But yeah, I could talk about fitness, how I think about fitness, even a little more of a sort of philosophical conversation, I guess. How should you think about fitness? Or not how you should, how I do, right? I'm not here to give advice necessarily. I'm no physical therapist or workout coach or anybody with a real knowledge of these things, only what I've picked up in my own research and figuring out what works for me. Um, so yeah, those are a couple ideas. I was also thinking about more, I don't know, traditional ASMR videos, I guess. Like with trigger noises and stuff. I don't know if that would be appealing to people. I'm not sure that I would like it, even. I've done that like once or twice before in some of my videos. But just the talking usually feels more natural to me. But I would also, I would be interested in trying out some trigger stuff a little more and see if I like it. And so on that note, I guess I also have some questions for you. And this is really not helpful of me to put these questions, 40 minutes into the video or however long we've been playing here. Because a lot of people are probably asleep already. Maybe I'll need to talk about this stuff at the start of a video. But, yeah, I guess my question about triggers is, what triggers, if I did that, do you guys like, I don't know, like mouth sounds? There's the whole mouth sounds thing. I've never really done that before. Just try like I don't know, something like that. And then obviously there's like gum chewing. Do you guys like gum chewing? Maybe I'll put a poll about that. I know gum chewing is sort of divisive. Yeah. And then obviously there's, just sort of object triggers like, controller sounds and bottle cap sounds. I really love bottle cap sounds. I don't listen to a lot of trigger-based ASMR anymore. I used to, because I used to listen. I don't know if I should get into this. Maybe this is, let me just say this, okay. I guess, sorry. This is just a weird topic, and so I don't know if it's appropriate to talk about in a video, but there was a big ASMR channel that I used to watch a lot, and then, and they did a lot of trigger-based videos, and then they did some kind of weird stuff, and so I stopped watching them just because it felt weird. It didn't really feel relaxing anymore because it felt like their personality. I don't know, I'm not trying to like cancel them or whatever. Just didn't feel like, I just didn't feel comfortable watching their videos, and ASMR for me is relaxing. And so if the person that's doing it kind of weirds me out for whatever reason, then it's hard to relax. So anyway, maybe you can guess who they are if you remember that drama. Anyway, but yeah, so I don't watch too much trigger-based ASMR these days. I usually am more, I don't know, I just watch a lot of like talking ASMR, whispers, soft speaking, that sort of stuff. Sometimes gameplay videos, people playing games. there's sometimes like keyboard sounds or controller sounds or whatever. I'll give a little shout out to a channel that I've been actually watching a lot recently. I discovered them, I don't know, maybe like a month or two ago. They are called Can ASMR, I believe, KAN space ASMR. And I will just drop a link to them in the description so that you can see them for yourself. Because I do highly recommend that you check out their channel if you're into how they whisper and they play games. And I've been falling asleep to their channel a lot recently, so check them out. It's funny, they play a lot of games that I never play, I've never played. They play like Genshin Impact and Dead by Daylight and another one, something Zone Zero, maybe Zen Zone Zero. And I've never played any of these games, but it's great ASMR, and it's interesting watching them play, and just seeing some game I don't know anything about, so check him out. I think he's German. I believe he's German. But, and also he has an Outlast. He's played some Outlast videos, and they make me laugh my ass off, so that's very good too. Anyway, here we have the explanation for the cursed Aztec gold, right? The cursed Aztec gold. Was it Hernan Cortez, I think, right? Came down and was it like a bribe or something they paid him to, I forget the details of how the gold became cursed in the first place, but now you have Barbosa and his crew, and they go and they find the gold, and they take the gold, and suddenly, oh no, they're cursed. The only way to break the curse is to return all of the gold. And Will Turner is a descendant of Bootstrap Bill Turner, who was in the crew. So there's a little mistaken identity thing here where Elizabeth pretends to be a Turner. I think because she doesn't want them to know that she's the governor's daughter, but then it turns out that they need a Turner's blood to break the curse, and so Elizabeth sort of unwittingly actually makes herself more valuable to them. I think we can play one more mission. I guess you can, that's sort of a new type of completionist thing for these levels, is adding in those compass finds, where you can go back to a level and try to find the little hidden treasure of the compasses that you missed out before. Barbossa with his telescope. And Barbossa's telescope is okay, that's very funny. Barbossa's telescope going all the way across. Alright, they got me with that joke. That's some good Lego game humor. So the Black Pearl has caught up to the ship, and now it looks like we are due for a sea battle here, offloading a bunch of weight. Barbossa, played by, I believe the actor's name is Jeffrey Rush. You can also see him in The King's Speech, which is a good movie about King George. What was he, the 6th, maybe? Who had a speech impediment, a stutter. And Jeffrey Rush's character plays a speech pathologist, basically, or a speech therapist, I suppose, who tries to help the future king overcome his stutter. It's quite a good movie. Speaking of other movies that these actors were in, Johnny Depp, what an actor, man. The different movies that he was in, he's such a, chameleon actor. Just think about the differences between, Jack Sparrow, Edward Scissorhands, Willy Wonka, did he play Whitey Bulger? Was he Whitey Bulger in, Black Mass? Sorry, there's another loud thing going by my house. But perhaps it is gone now. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I can't remember that character's name. Anyway, great actor. This whole cast is amazing, and Keira Knightley in these movies, in the first movie, wasn't she like 16, I think? Maybe that's a little too young, but she was incredibly young in this first movie. Keira Knightley's also a great actress. And then, of course, Orlando Bloom. And I'll be honest, I don't really know Orlando Bloom's filmography. I know the Pirates of the Caribbean, and I know the Lord of the Rings. I'm not sure that I could name a single other movie that Orlando Bloom has been in. And I mean, he was in The Hobbit, of course. But he's great in both those, in the Tolkien world and in the Pirates movies. He's fantastic, so I'm surprised that I don't know if he just didn't do much more, or I don't know, maybe he just kind of suffered one of those, just didn't get cast in other great movies. don't know, I should look that up after this, see what other stuff Orlando Bloom was in. Just, you have to, run around here and I guess fire off enough cannons to find Jack. One of these classic little Lego level situations where you're, put in a sandbox sort of area and have an objective, and you just have to explore around and find all the ways to achieve your objective. Find all the little puzzles and buildables and stuff like that to do what you need to do. Also, this is the first video I have made since coming back from vacation. So, I got a lot of very kind messages when I came back, or I had a lot when I came back of people who had wished me a nice vacation. So, thank you very much. You're all very kind, and it was a lovely vacation. What do I need to do? How do you... okay, push it from the inside. Push it from the inside. Now we can go back up top and fire off another cannon. To climb the ladder, boys. I'm not sure if I asked this. I don't think I did when I was talking about future videos, but with the Lego, because I do want to continue my Lego games, I like playing them. Would you prefer more new Lego games, like continuing on to play Lego games that I haven't played before on this channel? Or would you prefer that I go back to some of the older games that I have already played and play a little more? For instance, I know that I've had some requests for more Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, which I can certainly do. But there's also, a million Lego games out there. So, the Jurassic World ones, and the Incredibles, and the Lego Movie one, I think, and all sorts of Lego games. So, would you prefer more fresh games, or maybe revisit some of the ones that I've already played? I might do a little bit of both, but I'm just curious where the consensus lies. And of course, I guess the issue is also, I just love the way that Jack runs in this. They did a great job with giving him that sort of flailing, half drunk, half flamboyant Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow run. But yeah, I know that asking people, for their opinions in the comments, I'll probably get a lot of different ideas, and that's okay. But I am just curious if there is more of a majority on one side or another. Anyway, I don't think I have any more questions about future videos. I think I can stumble my way through. I definitely am curious about trigger stuff. I might just try some videos. You know, mouth sounds, gum chewing, whatever, just try new stuff, and if people are like, hey, yeah, this is cool, then that's fine, and if people are like, ew, never do this again, that's fine. And if there's, most likely what will happen is some people will say the one thing and some people will say the other, and then I'll have to be like, okay, that's not very helpful. So we have to fight a monkey here. Have to fight a monkey. The monkey named Jack, who is an undead monkey. Or maybe he's not. I don't think he is at this point in the movie. I think it's at the end of the movie. He steals one of the Aztec coins and then becomes undead because of that. And that becomes a running gag. The undead monk, or no, I think he is undead at this point. I forget. Anyway, the reason that he's at the end of the first movie is because he becomes undead again, I guess. Anyway, it's a comedy bit. In the movies after this, he's always getting, or not always getting, but like, Jack will just turn around and shoot him with his pistol or whatever. But he's undead, so he can't die. But, how do I get up? What does this do for me? Can I, do you have to just jump on it? I guess. You must bounce on it. Crazy style. You must jump on it. Sorry. Yeah, that's a video. If you haven't seen that video, that a little internet reference, a little vocal stim. Okay. Don't think that's how. Can I cross there? No. I don't know. Pardon my. Okay, you have to follow the path. You can't skip the steps. You cannot skip steps. How long until they remake Pirates of the Caribbean? What do you think? Remaking everything else in existence. How long until we see the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot? Alright. Get out of my way. I'm just trying to bring up whatever this is. It's a box. And this will do something. Raise platforms, swing them out. Whoops. Oh, Elizabeth cannot join the fray. Wait, yes she can. classic. I know I've said this in like every Lego video. I'm very repetitive at this point, but it always makes me laugh how the girls in the Lego games jump so high. It's the special ability of being a woman, is that you have the jumps of those aliens from Signs. You can just jump onto a house. What's that bit in that movie where she's like, the sheriff's like, did you see who was on your roof? He's like, no, it was dark. She says, was it a man or a woman? And he says, I don't think a woman could jump on our roof. And then the sheriff's like, I don't know if you've seen those Swedish high jumpers at the Olympics. I saw a woman jump 8 feet or something like that. I can't remember the scene well enough, so it's not funny to repeat it, but trust me, if you were in my brain, you'd be laughing your ass off. And they were forced to walk the plank, to walk the plank. It's the part where, Jack and Elizabeth are marooned together, and they end up, it's the same island where Jack was marooned years before, and there's that whole story about he tied sea turtles together with his hair or something, and then rode the sea turtles to freedom. And then on the island you find out that it was actually like a cash station for smuggling, like a rum smuggling operation or something. And they just picked Jack up from the island, which is one of Jack's great character traits, of course. One of his great aspects is that funny combination with him where, you can never quite tell how much of this is his competence, how much of this is dumb luck, how much of his legendary status is all just made up, and how much of it is real. So this is the hub area of this game. It's pretty small, but it certainly seems like you can, if you get enough gold bricks, you can go into other areas. So I don't know how big it would get. I guess there would be some area where you could go look at your mini kit collection, of course, but it's funny, this is pretty small for a hub area, at least in the opening stages. But anyway, I think that is a great place for us to end today. So thank you for joining me as I check